Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good day. Digital Librarians Week 11 for IML 651 Digital Library. From a traditional librarian point of view, digital libraries present a transformative model for a large-scale, user-centric organization that is moving towards and integrated from with various components. And as we know that today, more and more users shift to digital collections or digital information system in searching for information. So this automatically will change the nature of librarianships. Therefore, digital libraries have a unique characteristic that differ from traditional libraries and their approaches to information provisions. This diagram illustrates the digital libraries interconnections by Joyce and Rasmussen. Although this diagram highlights the pillars of information services which connected between communities and the information provided lies on information technology and their infrastructure, but we cannot deny that the purpose of digital libraries remain consistent with the traditional libraries, that the purpose of digital libraries is to organize, distribute, and preserve information resources just as it is for traditional libraries. In this diagram, the IT components and the information provisions, which is information services, will be merged and interconnected. Many researchers, such as Chowdhury and Tanner, have described digital librarian roles, and they suggested the core competencies and skills needed to perform this role. Now, in addition to their traditional library skill and knowledge, many of today's professional librarians are expected to possess additional knowledge and skill required for work within the digital information world. Librarians are thus faced with the challenge of acquiring advanced knowledge and skill to augment what they traditionally learn, and to do so while at the same time there's a shortage of experience in library staff. And as a consequences, educating digital librarians who are competent to work in the dynamic and complex digital environment has become a high priority in library schools or information schools. What is digital librarian? Digital librarians play a distinctive and dynamic role in easy accessing of computer held digital informations, which includes, for example, abstracts, index, full text databases, sounds and video recordings in digital formats. For finding the right information at the right time, the researcher, education and training, learning and development, work and disseminating to the user in required format as the basic requirements of digital library. According to Sri Nivasulu, digital librarian, they should consist these elements. Number one, they manage and organize, combine the functionality for informations. Number two, planning and coordination. Number three, data mining and knowledge discovery. Number four, digital reference services. 5, electronic information services. Number 6, representations of informations. 7, extractions and distributions of information. And number 8, searching notably databases, online, internet-based World Wide Web, multimedia access and retrieval. And if you notice, these all 8 elements being implemented in your information management curriculums nowadays. The need for digital librarians in the management of digital library. At least there are 8 reasons why we need to have digital librarians in digital library management. Let's go through one by one. Role number 1, management of digital library. So, in management of digital library, it refers to the overall competencies, which includes knowledge, know-how, skills, and attitude necessary to create, store, analyze, organize, retrieve, and disseminate of digital information, which includes text, images, and audio-video in digital library. For rule number 1, being implemented in your group project, whereby you need to manage your team members, being a leader, and propose a digital library project. Alright, in the management of digital library, there are a few components that you need to know. The roles number 1, guidance of information superhighway, which means you need to identify the right information services that to be included in your digital library project. There are 2 types of information services. Number 1, public, which normally free services. For example, databases being provided for free, for example, information.net. And there's also commercial or fee-based services. Fee-based, you need to subscribe and you need to pay per article, pay amounts per article downloaded. So there are 2 types. Again, there are 2 types of information services. Public, which means free, and anybody can access the databases anytime and anywhere. Open source, and number 2, commercial, fee-based services. And the information provider really make a profit from fee-based services nowadays. Role number 2, guardians of the global digital library, which means the universal digital library. Library without walls or national boundaries. As we notice, most databases being subscribed by our library, being accessed or being developed by publisher in other countries. And in this process, they introduce distributed information and active repository accessible from anywhere with increasing improved techniques for indexing, extractions, and summarizations of the digital content. Number 3, digital librarian act as a human machine guru. So digital librarian act as intermediary in the task of digitizations of information, its storage, disseminations, managing the archive, and making available digitized network information to end user. So this is the responsibility for digital librarian that serve their customer or library user. And for this, digital librarians and the technology, especially computers, depends on each other for processing and disseminations of digital informations, and both are interrelated. So digital librarian not only develop and provide, but they also educate their user or customer to make use of digital library. Number 4, navigations, browsing, and filtering. Although nowadays digital librarians and especially information system, they're more and more intelligent, but as we discussed in our previous class, we need end user involvement in this process. So we cannot deny people or human in system development process. So human-assisted information retrieval from the network universe and will support rapid information and precision retrieval. In this, the navigations of the future will tend to integrate with human navigation process, browsing, and filtering. And in this strategy, navigate, browse, and filter, you need to integrate with a human element as well. Because as a digital librarian, you must know or you must identify what are the requirements of your end user. That's why nowadays big IT company, they introduce the concepts of humanizing technology. Again, concepts of humanizing technology. It is technology based, but they put human element in that technology. Okay, before that, digital librarians should have a skill in navigation process. We can consider this digital librarian as an expert in navigation, browsing, and filtering, whereby digital reference services and electronic information services from digital information sources. We cannot rely on technology only, but you should equip yourself with this skill, navigate, browsing, and filtering information skills. Roles number 5. Basically, digital library is more than a paper or printed document. In this, digital library provide you with multimedia search and index. That's why, as a digital librarian, you must know how multimedia search process and how the indexing and organizing the information in digital libraries. Multimedia digital libraries required not just standard indexing and retrieval, but also subdocument indexing and summarization technique. As we know that multimedia search enables information search using queries in multiple data types, which includes, for example, searching via text and search via multimedia formats. Multimedia search can be implemented through multimodal search interface. Example, interface that allow to submit search queries not only as textual requests but also through other media. Methodologies in multimedia search normally includes metadata search. As we know that metadata, they describe the, for example, in this case, multimedia. Video, for example, metadata describe the video that being stored in your digital library. For example, the dates of creations, the author or the publishers, and then file types or file formats, and dates of posts or dates of publish, and other information. So you can use these metadata elements to search the multimedia file or the multimedia content. Next, knowledge discovery and data mining. The ongoing rapid growth of online data due to the internet and the widespread use of databases have created an immense need for knowledge discovery and data mining methodologies. The challenge of extracting knowledge from data draws upon research in statistics, databases, pattern recognitions, machine learning, data visualization, optimizations, and high-performance computing to deliver advanced business intelligence and web discovery solutions. So, all of these elements being an important component for digital humanities. Digital humanities, whereby every element in our life being digitized and more activity and interactions being computerized. So we rely a lot on digital humanities elements in our society nowadays. Automatically, you have no choice. Turn yourself to digital humanities community. Digital librarian will require unlimited knowledge of data mining and discovery of knowledge from digital libraries to extract uh, information needs of user. That's why there's the librarianship introduce concept, yeah, to represent this phenomena. There's another new roles or new career path, yeah, in this process. They call this as digital librarians. Yeah, digital librarians. So the main business or the main area of digital librarian is data mining and knowledge discovery. Yeah, totally different from digital librarian or librarian as being used nowadays. Unsupervised learning techniques such as clustering and composite terms, discovery techniques, and data mining technique being used nowadays, being introduced nowadays. So you must explore and master, this area if you want to be a digital librarian. A digital librarian. But for most organization nowadays, they didn't call this as a digital librarian. The career path tu bukan, it's not a digital librarian, but some of them call this data science. It's part of data science. Search and retrieval coordination. It requires comprehensive knowledge of the retrieval engines, retrieval search engine, and indexing structure. So you must know different types and different retrieval search engine. So you must know how the searching process and what are the searching strategy and how they structurize their indexing. So that the digital librarian can achieve the goal of creating information queries with respect to the search system. So you must know types of information searching strategy for specific searching system, that will help you or assist you a lot to be professional digital librarians. And coordinations of digital activities and their integrations into ongoing development process and services. So you must always update your skill, yeah, know types of intelligent search engine being introduced, yeah, in the markets, and keep your knowledge up to date, yeah, especially in searching technique. Digital library access tools are the right sets of tools used in novel ways to tackle challenges and opportunities for information access technology and faster access. So therefore, digital librarian interface function and roles in the management of digital library normally includes the access tool and their interface. Yeah, access tools and their interface. So in this process, digital librarian act as an intermediary who brings together the user and the interface of informations. So you act as intermediary between these two components, the computer or the digital contents, and the computer and their interface, the software and their content, basically. As we know that digital libraries, they consist of 5 components, and among those 5 components is your infrastructure, which include software, and there's another component in this element that we refer as digital content. So you must link together between this digital content and the technology, and to serve these two things for your user. All right. Next, finally, digital information access. Digital information access. Variety of information retrieval techniques, including metadata searching and full text document searching. So this is the assessing and retrieval process. And number 2, mobile information access. Visions of tomorrow, but this is already in place. Mobile information access is the one that we mainly use in our searching of information nowadays. Before we go deeper, let me explain about information assessing and retrieval. So assessing and retrieval, they relies a lot on method use. A method used to store, find, and retrieve digital information. So we call this as accessing method. Accessing method. What is accessing method? As I explained just now, is a method used to store, find, and retrieve digital information. And for this, the technology used to access information digitally provides navigation path or digitally library access tool through the digital information system. All right. As a conclusion, this is the key skill for digital librarian. The competency of digital librarian is represented by different sets of skill, attitudes, and value. Skills of IT, skill of management, and of course, you need to have the right attitudes and leadership value in this process. The skills and competencies is required for a digital librarian in the management of digital library management. And among the key skills, according to Srinivasulu, is internet and social media, multimedia, digital technology, and digital media processing, which includes digitization as well, and then digital information system, online and optical information, and for this actually is referred to storage, storage of information or repository of information. There are many medium. And number 4, you should have additional skill, internal network. Internal network refer to your management style, your leaderships, and external network. This is skill for networking within the outside, the outside your organization boundaries. For example, the way that you communicate your public relation with publishers, and then your communication with stakeholders, your customer, your suppliers, and maybe ICT provider and internet provider as well. Okay, for that, thank you.